Hey, I think we're live on Facebook. It says we are. Good afternoon, Facebook land. As you can see, I've got a rather fantastic guest this afternoon, Caffy St Luce, all the way from South London.
Yeah, thank you. Hello.
So I'm very excited to talk to Caffy for two reasons when I was thinking about this. Two main reasons. One is obviously the link with the Manics, who are perhaps the most important band in my life, but also for her continued work, tireless work and championing of new and exciting bands going on up and down the country. So I want to talk to her about both those things, if that's all right.
It's all right with me. I just stopped me talking too much though, because I'm a bit nervous.
Yes. So what we're going to do to start with, as people arrive at this virtual gig, and as I always say, some of them come in a bit late, looking embarrassed, and walk to the back. Some people are joining us already. Thank you to Victoria, who's just joined us. We're going to play a song to start with as we go and promote this by posting the stream everywhere, and as people assemble in this gig. We said we're going to play the Moses track first. Do you want to say anything about that as I get it ready, Kath?
Yeah, sure. I love this band, and they're very important to me and to people that find out about them. And it's just got the word love in it, and they mean it, and they spread it, and they do it, and they show it. In fact, they were around with Pink Fizzy and bread yesterday, bringing us supplies. Bless the beautiful heart.
Excellent. Well, is this the most recent single?
No, but this is the last one we got to do like a proper video for. We got a nice guy called Charles Edelweiss created a cinematic black and white thing, and then dropped Victor, the singer, into it. I just wish I could film like that.
Right. Fingers crossed. Here we go.
So close, but so far. I need lights to guide my heart. When you're down, you need love. When you're down, you need love. Waiting on new sights, hoping I'll be alright.
What a great way to start the afternoon. Excellent. Welcome to people who've just joined us. As you can see, I'm talking to, I could describe her as a legend, actually. She says I'm not famous, but she's worked with so hard with so many bands that have been famous or been incredibly important. So to me, she's definitely a legend. It's great to see so many people joining us. Already some questions coming in. I'm trying to make note of them as they fly past. I'm going to try.
Got asked if we tidied me flat.
Yes, people occupy your decor. Yes, my old house was red like that. Yeah, I've forgotten that. If people do want to ask questions, feel free. In my head, I was thinking we could do 50% talking about the big bands, particularly the Manics, the big bands that you've worked with, and 50% talking about new bands up and coming. Because one of the things I admire about you is that, like me, you try to keep promoting new bands, but you seem to have a lot more energy and the ability to do it than I do. So I want to talk a bit about that. So first question is,
Rosie, can I just say thank you for all the Christmas cards? Okay, sorry to interrupt now.
well, if Russell Taysom is watching, thank you, Russell, for designing a load of the Christmas cards, and also Dom from Swansea, and also Phil Rose, Esquire from America, for designing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
They're
enjoyed
lovely.
it.
I keep them all. Thank you very much.
One day we should have a Christmas card exhibition, repeat Christmas card exhibition. One of the exciting things, to a tangent, we said we talk about tangents, is for me is Russell Taysom, who started off doing work for Repeat, and then he gets asked to do the Idols video and so on. It's really good to see people progress. So my question to you to start first up is, what were you just about to work on when lockdown hit in? Tell us about a few of the young, exciting, aspiring acts you're working with and are frustrated to be held back with.
Well, we're going to have such a Saturday night. We wanted to bring new punky bands back to ULU in central London, the student venue. And Moses, who you've just seen, Bug Eye, Couples, and the Novus, I thought would be a really good kind of proper good time band, you know, like big songs, big confident performances, and hopefully people would like it so much they'd want to like keep going back, and got a sponsor and all of these wonderful things going on. And then of course yeah, you know, it's lockdown, so everything's a little bit postponed, but I'm so determined that one day we will either get to do this show or even take it on the road or something. And there's about 100 bands that we could just around the country and like, can we come and play with you or whatever. I don't know if any of this will happen because it's all dreams, but there's such a good time being had under the radar in the very venues that Music Venue Trust are trying to keep going. And it's not exactly a secret, but it feels like it almost is. And there's a lot of love there. So where you've got a hostile environment that everyone is kind of, you know, sod that bollocks, there's also a fertile environment going on where and literally fertile, where these bands are, they would have been on Top of the Pops because they've got these big tunes, and yeah, they're real pop stars, but you can see them affordably and close up. So I mean, what's not to love?
So what can you tell us about Moses, who we just watched? You explained a bit about the track. I mean, you've been telling me about them for a few months now, or longer perhaps.
They just released an album called Almost Everything Is Bullshit, which kind of sums up 2020. They kind of again, I came across them via tangents on tangents, and I had to listen, and I got through a verse and a chorus, and then I just called up and said, oh, please come and play for us. And then they kindly came and played our Artbeat Fest, which we did with like kind of loads and loads of friends, different promoters. That whole co-promoter thing is going on as well, loads and loads of collaborations. And it got to kind of like a couple of years in, everyone dived on them, and I think they just had enough of like industry bullshit and thought, you know, sod this. And yeah, I just kind of messaged them and went, please keep going, because there's some bands you just shouldn't lose, and they deserve to get to album. And they deconstructed, reconstructed, and then just did things on their own term. with their own ideas, and I'm just there. I'll help however I can, and you know, good for them. They've kind of like been releasing music, doing very decently on Spotify, and they just got massive tunes. And the thing is, all these bands, all these bands that I'm recommending, friends who liked, say, like the Manic, Mansun, whatever in the 90s, if they check them out, they're like, I don't know, they're liking these bands as well that the kids like as well. So there's a whole crossover of generations, which is you know, is strong. I mean, just before Brexit, we were being told that guitar bands are over by people who didn't get gigs. They can sod off, because you know what? That's a load of rubbish, and it's being proven now, and they're doing all these like achievements, and good for them.
Indeed.
Sorry.
Indeed, that's great. That's what I want to hear, enthusiasm for new stuff. So you seem to have a policy, well, maybe policies are too grand a word, but you're not too worried about whether things seem to be in the cool list at the moment. You'll just promote whatever you like and stand up for whatever you like. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their own personal opinion. Oh God, I just saw myself on my laptop. Everyone's got their own personal opinion, but I just think that kind of, if people have got like soul, passion, compassion tunes, and they mean it, they're not just kind of, I want to be like famous and rich quickly. It doesn't really work like that. But I don't know, there's a real integrity, I think, to what so many of the people I'm very lucky to be able to see what they're doing. There's such an integrity, and I'm just chuffed that I can be part of that or go to these shows.
So you've got a small a scene going on in South London, is that right? Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, well, it was. There was kind of a thing of New Cross, but it's kind of like anywhere really. I think it's more not so much where you're from as where you're at, as they say, because it's like people call in here from all over, and people from here go to, well, not at the moment they don't, but they go to all over. So although you know, as things like we started the Zine UK documentary, for instance, in the back room bar of Amersham Arms, and then you've got people like John Clay and Tim that doing things at the Windmill and all of that. South London is the bit of London that London says ain't London, but it's all right.
Yeah, there's quite a supportive community going on there, it seems, that you've assembled or you've been part of.
But well, not me, just everybody. Everybody's kind of you know, I would say there's like hundreds of people all doing something completely different, but we kind of weave in every now and then. So I'm just one of like hundreds at the moment. So
you're involved with something called Rocklands TV and Artbeat Promo. How do those two connect?
Well, Rocklands started off in that I thought there should be like a rebel base somewhere, and it's just it's in the U-bend of the River Thames. So when you watch EastEnders, the bottom bit of the U-bend is just opposite Docklands, but it's where Lovers Rock meets Rockers Love. It's all these heritages and cultures, because it's a birthplace of both slavery and abolition. And when you get all that going on and just look very working class, you know, even with all their gentrification and tree murdering, they still can't stop it being working class. I call it the Anchor Town Rebellion, and which is where the love pirate idea comes from, in that you mutiny against bad captains. You know, you press ganged into living in a fascist coup. Well, you know, catch me goose stepping. I've got a bad ankle, so that can do one. Ain't gonna do it. Kind of, you know, I love people, I love all kinds of people, and there are so many wonderful hearts internationally. Why should we be press ganged into their, I don't know, they stink and we ain't having it.
Indeed, well put. So before you started working for All or Nothing, were you doing something similar to what you're doing now? Is that how you started?
Oh, sorry. I was working at Rough Trade Distribution, and then got to do radio, and lucky to work with Heavenly, Jeff Barrett. What a lovely, lovely man.
Yeah.
And he came in giggling one day, said he'd signed the Manics, and they're just so right up my street. And I got all excited, and actually I'm still excited on that.
Brilliant to hear, isn't it? Yes, yes. So as we've got onto the Manics, let's talk about them for a bit, and then we'll go back to the new things that you're doing. So you were involved with them through Heavenly. Does that mean you promoted the Motown Junk and the original You Love Us single?
Yeah, that was fun. But I can't remember why we had no lights, but myself and Colin, we mailed Motown Junk out by torchlights. He was holding the torch, and I'm stuffing 12 inches into mailers, and I don't know, that's like a memory. And then also we got told you can't play guitar music on the radio, but Jim Gallatley, he was up at, I think, North Sound at the time, and he didn't care, and he played it anyway. And it's like, now it seems mad that people say you can't play Manic Street Preachers on the radio. So anything people say you can't do, it means, well, maybe you can't, but somebody else can. And I'm always looking for that somebody else that's willing to go out on a limb a bit and kind of, I don't know, I'd be very happy with a BBC Zero, where we could just, I don't know, experiment or something.
I don't know if you remember, it was a record shop in Edinburgh that banned Motown Junk.
Yes.
Avalanche Records, I think it was called.
Yes.
Oh,
I remember. There was never a dull moment. Never a dull moment.
It was nothing to do with the song. It was just they didn't like the way the band came across, I think, from what I remember. It was a long time ago. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there were always people. It seems like an age ago as well that people thought they could be racist to the band and all of this kind of nonsense, you know. And it's like there's some pictures, and James is wearing like an old flying hat I had.
Yeah.
Because people had been lobbing bottles on stage, and you know, like one time he actually cut his head open really badly, and they were doing some sort of Radio 1 taping, and the sight of the blood was kind of, I think Carrie from Shampoo just got the picture where the can's going in his head, and then there was blood everywhere. Then everyone ripped up the Radio 1 sign, and it was like, oh my god, they're actually going to tear this venue to pieces. And I was with my mate Sean, and I don't know, some of the sights that you see don't seem real, but it's like you don't have to be kind of a nasty asshole to be rock and roll. You can have a cup of tea and be as rock and roll, because it's, like I say, if it's coming from integrity, you don't need to pose.
Yeah. So that gig you mentioned, I think was it possibly at the Marquee in London?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, it was live on the radio, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then I think Richie said something like, yeah, any boys or girls who want to shag us, just come backstage. I think the venue was
family entertainment, yes.
Oh, yes.
So where again, it's a tangent, but where I'm sitting now is only a mile away from when Nicky's head got whacked with a bottle when they played at Singleton Park in Swansea. Free gig sponsored by Heineken, and everyone had drunk a load of Heineken, got really pissed up, and Nick ended up in the hospital, in a Singleton hospital just down the road from here. So I've got some questions about the Manics I'd like, things I've always wondered, but if anybody else has, they're welcome to send them in. There's quite a lot of comments come in for you already, which I'll try to go through.
God, I hope I can remember things. Bear with me, kids. I'm a little old lady, don't forget. Okay.
These are just things that from your career that I'd like to know any more about that you can remember. What was it like when they played Top of the Pops? I don't know if you remember the first time when they did You Love Us, or when they did Faster on Top of the Pops. Have you got any memories of either of those?
Yeah, I wasn't there. I watched them, and both times, me and Agnes, best mate, we were just like, well, we were just in front of the telly, hearts going like crazy, because, well, you know, the Manics were on telly, and of course they always stand out. The first time, I think James had like lipstick all over him, and the second time in the balaclava, that was the absolute classic. I got asked to do one time. I mean, Rory did it in the end, because Nick said to me, "I'll just play the bass." I don't think he wanted to do it.
Was it when he was getting married or something?
No, it was the time when like the BNP or one of the the Nazis of the year. They've all got different name every year, and it was something else they could spell anyway, like BNP, and it was just going, go on there and like make them think, oh, they've infiltrated the Manics now. But I think we did it in the end. But there's a lot of humour in it as well. I think. Well, I don't know if it's meant to be humour. I'm laughing.
Yes. What about the Anti-Nazi League Carnival, thinking about Nazis and what's happened in London today and so on? That was an incredible thing, because the Manics weren't the only band you were working with that played that, I believe.
Yeah, no, the one that did it for me was like the Smash lorry, where it was like when you see those movies of after the war in America and all the ticker tapes falling, and their stage kind of rolled into Brixton, and they played under Brixton Bridge, and there were all these people leaning out, and I don't know, it was just like, this isn't really happening, this is really happening, and it was just wonderful. And I want to kill somebody that's like.
I've just found some pictures. I'll see if I can share them with everybody. I didn't know I was going to show these, but I think they're there. Has that come up on the screen?
Billy,
Bragg and Ed.
Yeah, I'm glad I got my glasses on.
Hopefully we can see the others. That's a bit tiny, that one. I'll see if I can make that bigger. That's Billy, Bragg and Ed in the distance by Brixton Station.
There, yeah.
What's next? There they are again. I like that one, just totally surrounded with Anti-Nazi League lollipops.
Yeah, BNP, them's the ones.
They were the ones. They had a cancer at that point.
The ones. Yeah, Nazis of the year. I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Oh, there's Sal from Smash.
Sal.
There you go. Yes.
Looking mean and moody.
He's looking mean and moody, isn't he? Yes.
Oh, I love a wee. Oh, never mind. Just.
There's those two again.
Oh, are these your photos? Or these Bill's photos? Or?
I've just collected these. I don't know where they came from originally.
Oh, right. Okay.
They're all on the Repeat website if anybody wants them there.
Cool.
Is that it? Maybe that's it. Yes, that's it for that. That was an incredible day. I was living in Cambridge at the time, and I'm sure we organised either 9 or 11 coaches, and every single one filled up, and we still had to send people on the train because it was such a great day with the Levellers and the Manics and Smash and Credit to the Nation and more that I can't remember.
That's because most people are good, and should never forget that. It makes it look sometimes like, oh, the baddies are winning and all of that kind of stuff. I just want to fast forward to the bit where the Nazis' faces melt. Yes,
I think it's worth saying that again today, isn't it? That most people aren't Nazis. There's been a couple of thousand of ridiculous people in London defending statues by pissing on them by looking at the pictures.
And also the thing is, the statue's already in a fridge because now they've changed Churchill to that other geezer who thinks he's the Prime Minister, and it's like it's already protected. What do you want? And now they're fighting with each other, and it's being reported that they're fighting with just normal people, but normal people have stayed home.
Yes, they have. There's no Black Lives Matter people there, really, is there? And also, there's Zeke Heiling by a statue of Winston Churchill, who they're celebrating because he fought Nazis. How logical is that?
You couldn't make it up.
Here's another question about the Manics, which was a lot later in their career, which was going to Cuba with them, which must have been incredible. I was just thinking, with Repeat, I feel very excited if I get to go to London for a gig or to go to Cardiff for a gig. And you went to Cuba. Can you tell us a bit about that? It must have been incredible.
Yeah, I think I dreamed it. It's funny, I was talking to Robin, their DJ, the other day, and we both feel like we dreamed it. I think one of the things that won't go away from the back of my mind is seeing Fidel Castro on a balcony, and in front of him, just all these like Manic Street Preachers, red flags waving for the gig. And then the actual gig where like the kids, they kind of started, they were gently, yeah, you're liking this, we're digging this, because they're feeling it, man. And then it just kept escalating in a way that you couldn't make up in a Hollywood movie. And then they were like freaking out by the end of it. It's fantastic. Oh, look.
That's as big as I can get it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll never forget, never ever forget. And the people in Cuba are so beautiful and wonderful, and oh, I love them.
It must have been, it was the first time, wasn't it? Not a Western rock band had played there, I think.
Yeah, and the Stones went later, but I mean, like the Manics are kind of not only are like their songs and lyrics and actions, they're just kind of like on the right side of history, not for a pose, but because that's who they are. I think they're really sound, and I will stand by that.
Yes, indeed. So the last thing I was going to ask about the Manics, and then I'll perhaps watch a video of it, is when they played The Word on Channel 4. Do you have any memories of that?
Yeah, we all got frog marched out after that, because they, I think they rehearsed Love Sweet Exile and then played repeat.
Indeed, that is what the story is.
And it was the best. It was just the best.
It's complete chaos, isn't it? The whole studio of some people who looked like they couldn't have been Manics fans to start with. The whole thing got trashed.
Yeah, that was exhilarating. I don't know, just got excited. It's really hard to grow up when you kind of keep being excited so much. So
I'm going to just play that video and see if I don't know how well the quality will come across, and even if Facebook will ban it because it is copyright to somebody else. But we'll have a quick watch of that. If anybody wants to send in questions about the Manics, do it during this track, because then we're going to move on a bit. Also, this is an absolutely free event, which I hope you're enjoying. Lots of people watching. I'll have a look at the comments now. If you want to make a donation, because if you came to a gig, it might cost you something. Right at the top of the screen, there's a little link to the Music Venues Trust crowdfunder, because a lot of the small venues where bands start playing, as in the small venues where the Manics started playing, for instance, are seriously under threat because of the current crisis. The crowdfunder done by Music Venues Trust is going to be shared between the venues, so that if one venue reaches their target, they're going to move it onto another venue, move the money to another venue. It would be really good to donate if anybody can afford it. I know it's really tricky times at the moment. So we'll watch this, see if it works. I love this video, even though it's, as I say, not the best. And it's on Daily Motion, which explains the other slightly weird videos at the bottom of the page. Here we go.
Still with us, of course, Marty and Herbo and Tandy Newton, but now a band described as the future of rock and roll. The biggest thing to come out of Wales since the unemployment figures, the Manic Street Preachers.
Cool, I love that. I think it's one of my favourite.
Mine too. And you know what's really mad is that, like, what a day to be shouting "dumb flag scum."
Indeed, we have lovely little badges that say that very phrase. Before I go on, I'm going to look through some of these comments that have come in. You have to excuse me when I scroll through, and there's loads come in, which is great. Combat Tim has sent in lots of messages about your decoy.
Oh.
By weird coincidence, I used to teach his son guitar very successfully.
Yeah, and he's me flatmate. He was me flatmate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So where's so somebody here says the Word couldn't even get the song title right, but to be fair, that wasn't their fault. The Manics had practiced Love Sweet Exile all day and told them they were going to play that, and then they did spring playing repeat on them a little bit. The Cuba gig. Whose idea was it to put a row of pot plants in front of the stage? Do you know that? It looks like a very, very kind and gentle stage barrier.
I don't remember that, I'll be honest.
I just think it's much nicer than having a metal stage barrier.
Yeah.
Where else? There's quite a lot of discussions about pot plants. Ed from Smash is watching. He says hi. D from All About D fans in is watching from all up and down the country. Actually, people remembering remembering the Word,
friends.
remembering the Anti-Nazi League Carnival, just enjoying what you're saying. So that's great to hear.
Thank you.
Can he have his room back, please? So there we go.
Oh, I got. You know what? I know some amazing people, and you know, like some of the people who are watching. Well, probably all of them. Who are what? I don't know if is anyone watching. Oh, there's some people watching. So many talents in there. If you keep all their like comments and things, and then go back, you'll find they're all doing lots of things, and they're gateways to about 100 other things as well. So
Indeed.
like keep everybody on here, and you'll find amazing things going on. Everybody make friends with everybody else you don't know.
We've also got Julian from These Animal Men watching, Paul from Joyzine watching.
Are we doing stuff together? Balcony Festival it's called. Yeah, loads of you know, there's lots of things, lots of different promoters from this venue circuit. We're all joining up together, you know, whether it's Kick Out the Jam, Benunu, Joycing, you know, loads of us.
Dex is watching from Corporation Blend. You've got another flatmate called Victoria watching.
Hello, Dizzy.
So there we go.
There we go. I met Dizzy at a Patrick Jones gig, and you know what? I saw this little Bowie lady coming down the stairs, and I asked her, "Oh, please, can I take your photo?" And instead of going, "Get lost, mad old bat," she was like a bit shy, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." And then we've ended up as flatmates. So there's a tree house, is like loads of legends are called by, and still do. Sorry, Rosie.
No, that's great. No, I like to hear you talking as does everybody else. I was going to ask you about a few of the people you work with at All or Nothing as well. If there's any particular memories.
All or Nothing are the best.
Interrupt at any point. So Shampoo.
Yeah, you know what? Shampoo. Or I don't know, the Princess of Plumstead. You know that Girl Power is theirs.
It is.
They
came out a long time before.
Yeah, they kind of a lot of you know, no offense to the Spice Girls, but like they got to give some credit to Shampoo and Bouffant Headbutt. What a tune, mate!
Oh, still got that one. That was the first single, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, a tune. Trouble was the first one, but Bouffant Headbutt is the one that kind of, I don't know, I could just sing that forever. Maybe Adele should cover it.
Trouble is a very good one to teach guitar club because it's on 3 chords. And it's got a 2-chord riff as well, 2-note riff as well. So I love teaching Trouble. What about, well, you've already mentioned them a bit, a big influence on you and on me, Smash.
Smash kind of, do you know what? They will always be relevant. Actually, Smash and These Animal Men, they started off in a kind of collision pop vibe, and although they kind of got taken over a bit, they're so strong an influence that this young kid, Adam Foley, made that Flawed is Beautiful film.
Yeah.
And he was making a film before he even had a camera. That's how strong their pull is on people still, and they've influenced so much that one time they used to have this thing on telly called the Clothes Show. For fuck's sake, clothes. Anyway, yeah. One time they had they did a walk of everybody in camouflage gear, and then everybody in like kind of Adidas and stuff like that. And I'm looking at it thinking, well, yeah, you've just done Smash and you've just done These Animal Men, and it's like when bands, they've got the songs and people wanting to look like them, and they're easy things what people off any of our estates can dress like. You know, you don't have to have like, you don't need a £3,000 handbag to look like one of These Animal Men. You know, I mean, what the hell is a £3,000 handbag anyway? Get a life. But yeah, there's just, I don't know, a lot of I am proudly working class and probably will always live on in this state to the last day, and I absolutely dig bands that if you open your windows and play the music really loud, your neighbour's not going to go, "Oh, fucking come round, that fucking end you," if they hear it. That's how good these bands are. All these bands, they're great songs, and I stand by that. And hello and love to thank you to anybody.
Good we've got members of both those bands watching, because These Animal Men were the next on my list to ask you about, but you've talked a bit about that.
Sorry, I just excited.
No, great. No, do it how you want to do it.
I miss them and I love them all, you know, and they come to Amersham Arms and did their film preview gig, and I was so excited. And I was trying not to be too excited, but I was excited. I'm not
it was
very
a very exciting time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it still is.
It still is. You're still right. You're right. Yes. Yes. It's interesting how we perceive it. It's partly how the media present it, but it ought to be more about what we experience. What we experience ourselves should be what's at the top.
The real media is the people who are just doing stuff because they want to and they're compelled to.
Yeah.
And I know that they've got like the mainstream media at the moment, but they need to have a word with themselves. They need to write about themselves. And, you know, even today, like BBC is saying that kind of there's things are going off between Black Lives Matters and Nazi Lives Matters. And it's like, mate, BLM lot are at home.
Yeah.
It's a summer's Saturday afternoon, behave.
Yeah.
And we can't do that propaganda much. If you really love this country, start loving it. Anyway.
No, good point. Well put. Radiohead, did you work with them at all?
Oh yeah.
Tell us a bit about them. Yeah.
They're again more lovely lads. I don't care what anyone's heard about them. They're really sound and really madly. Me and my mate Purple Spice. In December, she treated me to like a Britpop party, champagne supernova brunch. And on the way, because like Mark Bluetone was hosting it and playing it, but on the way we bumped into Colin from Radiohead. And again, all sound people. And I really enjoyed Radiohead because it made it sound like they were sort of grumpy or something like that. And that's kind of what everybody wants to stick by. But, you know, they were really sound people. They're on side, and not even once, despite the amount of times that I kind of fucked up while learning press on them, you know, that did they kind of take me to one side and go and I just thank them for that. And you know, I'm glad that all my bands can stand up on their own feet, because what's standing up on their own feet is they had the songs, so it doesn't matter. And I'm just really chuffed that I got to work with all these bands. It's like, you know, like when you kind of, your brain is like a rock and roll Disneyland and all these wonderful things that happen and all the sort of best bands in the world, and you get to work with them. Well, that's what's going on in my little brain.
What about Mansun? Because they seem to be having a bit of a renaissance at the moment, Paul Draper and so on. Anything you can tell us about Mansun?
You know what happened the other day? They did like a Tim's Twitter listening party. You know, Tim from the Charlatans, he does a thing. And Paul and Andy got back together again while we were watching, because the albums, Mansun music, I don't know, it's like kind of, that is, and it's just brilliant. That's the power of rock.
Yes, you're right. So any other of the, I don't like splitting them into big name and less, but anybody else that you want to mention from the All or Nothing period?
Oh God, yeah, there is actually loads, and I don't know if it's because I'm senile or not. So but actually, most of who I really want to mention from All or Nothing is All or Nothing themselves. It's an office with no office politics, and I just love them. I just love the people. I still love them. We still chat. As I say, we still socialise, not as often, but I don't know, as people, as a whole office, as a whole thing, that Philip Hall, you know what you've done something wonderful, and the fact that there's still a All or Nothing speaks volumes.
Indeed. Yeah. So one thing that confused me about All or Nothing was that I was a fanzine writer who made this fanzine with lots of Pritt stick and glue and help from a class of 7-year-olds, and here's a picture of the first issue that we did without the highlighter on it. Hit any second now. There it is. And we just made this, and somebody called Val from Insane Fanzine stapled them all together for us and made them. If you've got a copy of that, it's extremely rare, obviously. That's as big as it will go. And yet you seem to take us seriously, because I wasn't expecting any anybody from the music industry to take us seriously, and you sent us stuff. Did you have a policy of, as in opportunities to talk to bands? Did you have a policy at All or Nothing of taking fanzines seriously?
I guess so, but also, I mean, I think that kind of if you didn't take chances, then I guess Philip wouldn't have picked up people like Stone Roses and Pogues, which are kind of, you know, there's just like just again doing what you like and what you love, you know. Same with the Blue Tones that Terry and I did for beer and stamps, you know. It's like kind of it really is to do with like the whole passion thing. And also I think like being from the music industry, I don't know, because there's still people who are from like the serious real industry who are still my friends, still talk to me. And in fact that first sponsor we got for that gig we were going to do, is also like, you know, like a really big industry hitter. And the fact that they will talk to me, I'm just some chick in a council estate, but I know what I like to know what I'm doing anyway. Let's put it that way.
I think we think you know what you're doing. So you were the first person in a proper record company setup, whatever, to send us stuff. And I hear some of the stuff you sent us in the early days. This is a bit nostalgic for me, but I wonder if you can remember any of it. So here's a stapled fanzine we made, and this is the first thing I got from you. Can you see that? It's a bit small. I don't know if it will go any bigger.
Want to drink some English tea. Yep.
Yes, you remember them. I
do. Gillian, I think, might have sent them.
Yeah, I was looking at them last night. I want to go forwards the other way. Oh, there's a picture of them.
There's Thurman.
Yes, that is the picture of them.
Oh.
And then this, I couldn't find the.
Oh, Flamingos.
But that's the first gig we ever got on a guest list for, which was the Flamingos at Cambridge Boat Race, which I was very excited about.
Amazing. I will never forget the Water Rats, where Kevin the drummer stood up on his stool at the end and fell into his kit. I love him. Extra for that. Extra double, triple love the Flamingos for that.
The two twins are still doing very creative things, aren't they? Both writing books.
God, well, no, Kevin is as well. All three of them are kind of like movers shaking. Kevin's got a label, James and Jude like writing, and everybody. This is the thing, is it's like people don't just come and dispose of themselves. They're like, you know, they're in it. They are music. That's their life.
So that was the first proper interview with a sort of well-known band we ever did, and you fixed that up for us. And then, of course, you started sending Smash stuff, which was I was over the moon about, because I love them already.
Thank you.
Stuff for free.
Just thank you to anybody that like gives a toss about new music.
You know, and then what else have we got? Oh, you helped us. There's Thomas. We got to meet them at Bedford, thanks to you. They were meant to be doing a matinee, but I don't think the matinee happened. But they still took time out to meet us all.
Oh.
And Martin Goodacre took that photo. And because it was before email days, he took the time to find my address and send me the negative.
Oh, shaky legend.
And then you started sending me Manic stuff as well. And I couldn't believe that either, because, yeah, there we go. That's an interesting picture.
Oh, I like that picture. Who took that? Was it Tom Sheehan?
It probably doesn't say on it. I'd have to look.
They used to put like the names on all the photos.
I thought, can I make it really big?
I always get all my. I better not say anyone's name in case of.
It just says
Walker print. I used to love that Walker print, and you'd get like photos of the bands 8 by 10 inch, and I wish I'd do that again. I would.
And there's another one. I think it does say who took that one. No, it doesn't say. It just says Columbia. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Oh.
I think that's the last in there. I hope people are enjoying my
your family photo.
This as well. I want to tell you about this one as well. This was a little postcard poster, but we also made T-shirts like this. And
nice one. I think Valerie came up with that idea of the stamping people, and is that at Reading Festival?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. I remember on the way there, Richard was teasing James because he was getting nervous about how many people might be there, and then I think maybe the Farm were on just before their set, and everybody kind of went for a wander, and I was just thinking, oh no, please watch the Manics, and then they came on, and then I don't think people had quite took it in that they knew their songs. You know, like when somebody's like, oh, let's fucking up then. And then every time they did a song, they were like, oh, they did this one as well. Oh, this is them as well. And it's like, that's the beauty and strength of song-powered bands. And Ian from Damaged Goods let me get on his shoulders, and I don't care. I was just like, yeah, Manics, and I was like on shoulders. God, nowadays I would actually, if I got on someone's shoulders, they'd go down through the mud.
Well, that photo, my brother took that. Somehow, I think you must have got a photo pass.
Oh, nice one. Yeah, because we used to do press at Reading and Leeds Festival as well. So that was always kind of good for getting a view of people up close.
The reason I showed you the postcard is because we had T-shirts designed like that, and the first arena tour the Manics did, it suddenly felt really different. Instead of selling the fanzine outside the venue, we had to sell it in a car park. And then all these security guys came and took the T-shirts off us because they said it was bootleg. And then, so obviously we got a bit annoyed about that. And then 3 weeks later, a big parcel arrived in the post, and I think it was from you. You and the band had decided you wanted to send us our T-shirts back. So that really touched me because nobody else would bother with doing that. So we got all the T-shirts back again. So thank you for doing that.
Well, you know what? The Manics really are sound. I could just be saying that just as a kind of line, but it's a fact.
Well, that's definitely proved true over the years, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
That's the end of my nostalgia, thank goodness. I wanted to talk to you about what you're doing now to finish with, if that's all right, and then take any more questions that come in, and then we'll wrap up, if that's all right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hope it's been all right.
It's been really interesting.
We've had like proper people on, like Patrick and Ed and Yang.
You're a proper person. You're more than a proper person, I think.
No, but I mean, like, I'm here as somebody to talk about proper people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I think we're all proper people, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, we're all proper people.
Yes. So,
but some are more proper than others.
I don't know. That's not true. That's very Orwellian. That would be.
That's the days we're living in.
What was it that made you leave working for All or Nothing then? Because you obviously really enjoyed it, and there were great people to work with and great bands. Why was it? It was just after Cuba, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like Cuba was too real, man. And also, not long after that, I sent somebody to somebody, and they said, "Oh, you're only saying it's good because you're paid to." And it had never actually occurred to me that was why I would say something was great, because we took on things that we liked. I've done probably about 2 things in my life which I just did because someone asked me to, but I couldn't find the words of enthusiasm to give it that bollock. Yeah. And then I just suddenly a lot of things dropped from my eyes, where I kind of realised that if they're saying that, that's how they think, and that's maybe why they do what they do, and maybe how they write. And I've just felt like an idiot because, you know, I'm from Shrewsbury. I don't know. I like kind of, London, where the streets are paved with pop stars, and it's going to be great, and it's really exciting, and da-da-da. And I believed all that, and I still believe all that, but I kind of, I needed to be a little bit more cynical, and, you know, a lot of that, I was heading towards like drinking too much, not to be shy or anxious or any of that. And I mean, now they call it imposter syndrome, where you think, oh, all these wonderful things are happening, and should I really be here? Like when I went to like Japan or something or whatever, I take pictures to show me mum, because I'm like, Mum, look at this hotel room, look at all this, that and the other. And you know what? I was just excited by absolutely everything. And even when people like you'd go to a posh hotel and people from the label would be up till like whatever time in the morning drinking, I'm thinking, no chance I'm getting in my posh bed, then I'm getting up and getting in my posh bath. I'm using every kind of soap and shampoo going, because do you know what? I'm proper. And when I was little, I was told I'd be a proper madam, and then I book in a posh hotel, and they're like, "Oh, can I help you, madam?" And I'm like, "Yes, say my name." So yeah, all that. I'm excited. I always will be. Check out all my bands. It would take me an hour to go through them all, but what I will do, if it's all right with you, I will probably try and message people that might have that might be on here with a link, so I can do a playlist or something. Is that all right?
Do, yes, and we could put all those YouTube links you sent me. We could put on the discussion on the Facebook thread.
Okay, thank you.
Couple more questions and then we'll stop then. So I was going to ask you about a couple of the bands that you've worked with since All or Nothing, if you've got the energy to keep going.
I've got all the energy.
Right, these are some of the ones that you've worked with that I've also loved since All or Nothing. So Corporation Blend, we've got Dexy watching at the moment.
Oh, what a legend. What an absolute legend. He's, one of the best things is, like, I went to the 100 Club. It's the first time I caught them live. And Dexy just went, "Yeah, White Stripes played here last week. So what?" I thought, okay, that's it. I mean, and I do really like the White Stripes. That's the thing. Is like, but he wasn't just saying it. It's just Dexy, and he's got so many strings to his bow.
What about Miss Black America, who's somebody you work with, as I did?
I got to meet them because my friend, the Queen Mum, was working at Six Music, and I think I was already in touch with Seymour, and then I met them at Maida Vale Studios, and I mean, they're just kind of like the real deal. And I think that, like, again, their song Miss Black America is just so now. I don't know what to say, but I will find it. If I haven't put that on my playlist, it has to be on my playlist, because Miss Black America by Miss Black America is, I can think of a lot of ways I could dedicate that song.
Give myself a quick plug. We've just released the Peel Sessions by Miss Black America on our Bandcamp, all the money going to a homeless shelter in Bury St Edmunds. So that's repeatfanzine.bandcamp.com for all the radio sessions, Peel and Steve Lamacq, and there's a very funny interview with Seymour by Steve Lamacq as well.
Seymour rocks.
He certainly does. The good thing, like you said about people continuing, he's now promoting in Bury St Edmunds, and
I'm so determined to get. I'm going to keep pleading with him. Please, can I? Because I want to put our Rocklands party bands on there. I'm going to just keep pleading with him.
That'd be good. That would be great. Officer Kicks, what can you tell us about them?
Again, I couldn't make them up. There's a book called Rock and Roll Diaries by Jamie Scallion, the singer, and that's just kind of like a mild Officer Kicks. Officer Kicks is just mad. It's like, let me get this straight. Actually, no, for legal reasons, I better not. But let me just tell you, they are absolute Southeast London rock and roll legends. And I love them dearly. I went to see them about a year ago now, actually, for Chris who runs their label. It's his birthday, and oh mate, they bring it. They've got it. That's another one going on that list.
Yes, brilliant.
I'm just going to make it up as I go along, but I love them dearly.
I can put it on the Repeat website. Actually, we've been putting playlists on the Repeat website, and I haven't done one for a couple of weeks, so that would be brilliant.
Okay, I'll do one.
And
Please,
on the website.
maybe one.
Brilliant. Finally, penultimately, we're going to go into some of the bands that you're working with and excited to be working with at the moment. And as soon as lockdown ends, and as soon as we're allowed to go and see live music. So I've got a list here of bands that you've suggested. You just talk about whichever ones you feel inspired. Probably all of them. So I've got the Velvet Hands, the Resner, the Blinders, the Cosmics, Strange Bones, ... The list is
David Twins, Big Joe. I don't actually work with all these, but I am a fan of all of these. Miss Mohammed might be a very good starting point, because I like the way that she articulated everything about what I call the newer wave, which is a newer wave of, like, the kids are like doing it for themselves because no one's going to do it for them. And she just simply said in a Guardian article about Decolonise Best, which you also need to go to, and she said, "We are the future, stop fucking ignoring us." And I think that's quite eloquent myself.
It is. It certainly is, isn't it? Yes. So if people want to follow the bands that you're enthusiastic about? What's the best way for them to keep up with it?
I would go with our documentary because, like I was telling you about Dizzy Spell, who I met. Well, we kind of got together with like loads of mates and contributors and have kind of been doing a documentary for, well, it's like 6 years now, and in it drops all these early birds like people, and the Zine UK, THEZINE UK, which and the UK doesn't stand for United Kingdom, sod that. Doesn't it does stand for United, but the Kingdom, take the G away, because it's like about family, but there is no United Kingdom, and either we're a queendom or women can be kings. I think women can be kings.
And I think you've got Facebook pages that people can follow where you'll be posting some of your enthusiasms. Art beat promo and rock.
Our beat is like beat poets, but with visualized, so the art, and like a heartbeat as well, and there's all of these things that it kind of, I talk too much, so it says it easier.
And also Rocklands on Twitter is quite a good way of following what you're up to, isn't it?
Yeah, Rocklands TV. There's no TV at the moment because YouTube went, that can sod off, but I don't care because, let me do it. Look, this is the Zine UK. Let's start this story now, baby. We're going to start on repeat. Or actually, if we're talking about Twitter, retweet after me. So we're going to do that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for giving me, Andy, the opportunity to just rant on and waffle about things that.
Thinking about Twitter, we will put this interview on YouTube for people who can't watch on Facebook, and we'll give that a tweet. I'm just going to show you this little picture from today that cheered me up, and then got the final question. This is people taking the knee in London, just near the fascists. That's inspiring me. That is the Britain that we want to live in, isn't it? Mixed, various, diverse, exciting.
That is the Britain that we do actually live in, and that is the Britain we live in. And yes, there are people, and maybe they need our help, or some of them need our pity. Even some of these mad folks that are kind of, they want to go and beat the shit out of myself or anybody. It's like, look, you know what? Calm down. Do we love Britain? Yes. Do we want it to look good? Yes. Have a word with yourself? Yes.
Final question. You probably fielded this question for other bands many times over the years, because I've asked everybody. Which is best, chips or cream buns?
Chips.
That was the correct answer.
Chips with curry sauce, with gravy, with mayo, with ketchup, with cheese, you name it. Chips, chips, chips.
You're making me hungry.
I'm a chipster.
We're going to play out with a track from Bug Eye.
Yeah!
Or a band who don't really care about whether they're in the cool list or not. Do you want to tell us
but they are cool. Do you know what? Bug Eye, find Crow Land, find how they blueprinted how festivals was going. Bug Eye! Album coming.
So I want to thank everybody for watching, all your comments. Maybe Caffy will go through and answer some of the questions I didn't get to. I do apologise. If anybody wants to donate to the crowdfunder, please do.
I will, I promise.
Excellent. And thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe, wash your hands. Don't go back to work unless you have to. And here, fingers crossed, as long as I've got it lined up somewhere. Any second, I'm going to have to waffle for a second while I get it lined up.
Thank you so much. In the meantime, though, thank you very much.
It's been great. Loads of people watching and sharing and so on.
And I just poured my drink all over me, so I don't know if anyone saw it.
Somebody was asking what you were drinking. Somebody was asking what you were drinking.
I call it wine.
And also, your hat has come in for some praise as well.
Oh, thank you. I love it. Thank you, Yanni and Nettie. That's our Danish family.
Excellent. Here we go.
Oh.
No, still not right. So this bit's going to be No, it is right. It just says Manics, but it's not. Don't worry. Right. This bit's going to be edited out of the YouTube version.
But this is proper, isn't it? This is like real life. Ooh.
It is real life. Bye, guy.